Hello world, good morning, afternoon, and wherever it may be, my default Alexa. So we're going to go over a couple of very important subject matters today, especially dealing with the lies, deceits, and total bullshit of third and fourth wave feminism, polyamorous relationships, and open marriages. Wow, that's a mouthful. So let's go over some of the first aspects of third and fourth wave feminism. Ladies, you do not have forever until you meet somebody. There is a point in time biologically that you are going to hit what's referred to as the proverbial wall, which means after 30 years old, your biological processes of being able to have children starts to wane and narrow inexorably. My suggestion: stop believing the bullshit that your feminist friends are feeding you, telling you that you can go out there and party and all this other stuff, and that you'll be able to have kids in your 40s. I'm going to tell you something right now. In vitro fertilization is only between 45 and 50% effective. Really not good high standards of qualities of getting to the point of having that aspect of having kids in that regard. So, with that said, don't believe the bullshit, don't believe the hype. You do not have forever. Meet a decent man. Know that he is a man of substance, value, morality, and ethics. Knows how to have fun, knows how to enjoy life, isn't a narcissistic douchebag, and will be able to treat you right. By the same token, also make sure that he doesn't have relationship issues. Men, your part. Making sure she's not a psychotic psycho-hose beast. Isn't just into after your resources, the aspects of hypergamy, but is more into really having a relationship as what's referred to as a meat mate, somebody who will help you, elevate you, bring you up, as well as you will bring them up, and will not try to change you in the process and accept you as you are, and that they don't fall in love just for your resources. Wow, what an understatement in that regard. Another thing too that I want to tackle is that when we engage in coupling, when we engage in having sexual behavior, you transfer things to one another. There is an emotional and psychological attachment. Certain neurotransmitters and triggers get stimulated in the brain to create that pair bonding aspect as a physiological and biological response accordingly to want to stay with that person, to pair bond with them. So regardless of what your particular mindset may be, that's why it's called the honeymoon phase. So after the first 3 to 6 months, you can't eat, you don't think of anything else other than the person, and that's just what happens. The other thing too is that third and fourth wave feminism lies about is pay gap. Pay gap doesn't exist. Women make just as much, if not more, than men in the workplace now. And because of that, there is no such thing. Finally, we're going to tackle probably one of the biggest things is that all men are evil, and that we're all conniving, evil, cunning artificers and orators who are trying to solicit women and put them down, and which is absolute and total bullshit. I don't know how these characters come about, the white patriarchy, all this other crap. Now, there is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy. Regardless of what you may think or what you've been taught, there is a hierarchy in the status aspect of the world. And nature, there have always been hierarchies to maintain balance. And the fact is that there are some people who are stronger, smarter, and things like that just come with the territory. Men are physically stronger than women. There is no doubt about that. Take a look at this one MMA fighter. I think her name was Michelle Fox. She's a transgender woman, and she cracked the skull of her fighter. Just cracked her skull from maybe 1 or 2 hits. There is a significant difference between our muscle mass, skin density, bone density, and all those aspects. So that's another lie. Women and men are not equal physiologically or biologically. There may be with someone within the top 2 to 4% of women who actually really weight train and have dedicated their lives to it. that are able to compete with men on an even keel, but they are very, very rare and very, very far and few in between. So naturally, men are going to be stronger in those regards, especially in physical performance. That's what we're meant, it's what we're designed for. Also, the other thing too is that you are emotional beings. You are more emotional than men are. You are hardwired to be more nurturing, to help create a family. That is part of your DNA. Even amongst your female friends, you're going to notice that when one of them starts to cry, your instincts are going to kick in to want to try to help take care of her. That's part of your nature. It's not a made-up facade. It's not, you're not into this non-binary bullshit. You are women. You are designed for these things. It doesn't mean that you are stupid or anything like that. It just simply means that you are hardwired to be more nurturing in that regard of your DNA. When you see children, it sparks something in you, unless you're some kind of mean bitch, or have had some previous situations dealing with physical abuse in your previous childhood or up to your current. You're gonna be like, oh, kids, oh, they're gonna fuck it up. No, truth is that it is ingrained in you to want to look at that kid and have the puppy eyes when you see them, because that is part of your DNA. So if you're taking gender studies, stop spending $100,000 on a bullshit degree that's not going to get you anywhere and leave you $100,000 in debt. Let's keep it real. All right, now that we've got that aspect tackled, we're going to go into the next aspect, which is polyamorous relationships. Usually women who have been sexually or physically abused or assaulted, or a combination of the two, are very hypersexual, haven't had a strong male figure in their lives, regardless of whether it's a dad or someone, or an uncle, or someone that was able to help give them that portion of their the balance to their yin to their yang, help make them a more established and more equalized individual. They are very promiscuous, highly have very low self-esteem usually, and they're trying to seek fulfillment, and they look for any particular partner they can find who will have them or have sex with them, to give them that sexual gratification. But here's the problem: the more times that they start to find male partners or female partners, whatever route they go, the high gets less and less. You become addicted. It's an addiction. It's like being an nymphomaniac. It's basically the same exact thing as just giving another label, term. Let's call it what it is, ladies and gentlemen. The truth of the fact of the matter is that polyamorous relationships are highly destructive. They destroy the individual's ego and psychological makes for an actual relationship, and they don't know what a real relationship is. They don't understand the dynamics of it, because they've had one, and after being massively traumatized from it or being in it, they jump from relationship to relationship, thinking and hoping that that person can save them, which isn't true. You have to save yourself. You have to help yourself. You have to get psychological counseling, and you have to heal from the inside out. And that's how you deal with it. That's how you contend with those inner demons. That's the only way that you're going to be able to overcome that. The other thing too is that you're also hurting the other individuals whom you're sleeping with, unless in regards to the fact that they are willing to do that. That's a completely different scenario, where both parties make the appropriate accommodations that they're just going to have that one night fuck stand, and that's it. So there's differences in how things are approached, different dynamics and all those components, but the fact of the matter is that a polyamorous individual is not stable in their lives or in what they're doing. They may have a stable career, but psychologically or emotionally, behaviorally, they are not stable in regards to sexual behavior or relationship status, and maintaining them. Even with their friends, they don't trust people. They have massive trust issues. You're going to come across that. Been there, done that. When it comes to just sitting down, just talking with them. And I'm not even talking about having sex. I'm talking about just sitting down and actually having a conversation. Picked up on so many cues. This is incredible. Psychologically wise too. Another thing, open marriages. You are going to get divorced within the first 3 to 4 years or less in your relationship. And the answer to that is because you lack stability. You do not trust yourself or your partner enough to be able to have a stable, balanced, and well-established relationship because you're afraid of having a relationship. Yes, I am calling bullshit on open marriages in this regard. And if there are kids involved, your kids are going to get so fucked up and they're going to hate you so much because they didn't have a stable home. They didn't have a home where they felt secure and safe, and they didn't have a balanced aspect, equalized balance in their lives to have that foundation. So I'm going to say this. If you're in an open relationship, close it out, because you're going to get attached to somebody, or someone's going to get attached to you, and someone's going to wind up hurt, dead, or worse. I don't know why people are so stupid in the regard that they don't understand these components. But the whole aspect, which has been based because of the third and fourth wave feminism, promoting these attributes, promoting these ideals, are doing nothing but creating degenerates, rapists, murderers, thieves. Yes, if you look across the board, these are the behaviors that are starting to become more apparent in these children who are lacking a firm father figure, a firm role model to help teach them right from wrong. The other thing, too, is we're going to get into a little bit as well is the necessity for male initiation. Men are not men anymore. They don't know the difference between what it means from growing into a young male, an adolescent, into adulthood, because they no longer have any rites of passage anymore. Those things have been completely stripped by society. Men have been, to a degree, neutered, so they don't really know the subtle differences between of when they are teenagers to when they become actual men. And having a child does not make you a man. It makes you a man-boy or boy-man, either in between. Doesn't matter how you reverse those particular descriptive nouns. You are not a man if you have a child. You are a man if you are able to take care of the child, be there for the child, and help support the child. Also, if the female is playing her contributing role in creating a cohesive nuclear family unit, which helps create a well-balanced child who has, and that doesn't guarantee anything. I'm going to say that now too. Just because a child comes from a nuclear family unit doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be normal. I've seen kids who have come from wealthy families and become crackheads, and kids from poor families who become millionaires. So all you can do is the best that you can. That's just the reality. But 9 times out of 10, if the kid has a good moral support system, they've got both family members, they're going to turn up to be a pretty well developed individual. So tackling these aspects is very, very important. Combating these lies and deceits of the social normalcy of what's not normal is this day and age, that if you're not fucked up, you're considered to be abnormal. And if you are fucked up, then you are normal, which is kind of really retarded, but it's kind of the premise for a lot of people this day and age. Also, polyamorous individuals and people in open marriages are closed off. They might go on Facebook, they might go on Tinder or Plenty of Fish or any of the other dating sites, and they're completely closed themselves off from the world because they don't know how to really socialize, because they're scared and afraid to. But they're not afraid to open themselves up sexually because the fear of trust, of establishing a true bond, frightens the shit out of them. So if you are listening to this and you are hearing this, if you have any of these particular behaviors, the only way that you can combat these things is by surrounding yourself with good people who are able to help you overcome these situations. Counseling, very much so. Because there's something in here and in here that is damaged, scarred, broken. It needs to be repaired. And I highly suggest that you do get professional help, so that way you can overcome these things and be healed so you can have successful relationships or friendships and surpass your boundaries and chains. The other thing too is that you cannot let the past chain you back. If you are in these dark, what I call dark alleyways, and you're seeking your next victim, because that's what you're doing, is you're passing those demons along to other people, and you're getting them caught up in your own psychological destruction. That's essentially what you're doing. So stop doing it. Stop hurting other people. Maybe, or you are. I'm going to call bullshit. You're intentionally hurting people, and you know it. It's very selfish and very narcissistic personality. And I say work at it. Develop. Learn how to study yourself. Learn you can heal yourself. It is possible. It's a little bit of a harder route or path to go. But if you study neuropsychology, you study sociological behaviors, you'll be able to analyze yours appropriately and develop a better internal intuition about it. Anyways, hope this sheds some lights on some particular subject matters and defeating the evil-minded stupidity of the world this day and age. Joshin mastering, batting, kicking ass, and taking names. Remember, question all things, don't be stupid, and use wisdom. Joshin Master out.